Greetings. Today, we'll delve into the fascinating world of Neanderthals, ancient humans who vanished from Earth approximately 40,000 years ago. These robust and remarkably advanced individuals for their time left a lasting genetic imprint on modern humans. We'll explore whether they were direct ancestors of Homo sapiens and examine the various hypotheses surrounding their extinction. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us tremendously and fuels our future video creations. Let's begin. Neanderthals. Who were they? We often learn in school that Neanderthals are named after the Neander Valley in Germany, where their remains were first extensively studied. However, the skull fragments unearthed in that valley weren't the very first Neanderthal discoveries. A Neanderthal skull, now known as Angus II, was found in what is now Belgium nearly 30 years earlier, in 1829. Another significant find, Gibraltar I, was discovered in 1848. Over the subsequent decades, numerous Neanderthal remains, fossils of varying ages, were unearthed across Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East. This wealth of fossil evidence allowed scientists and researchers to piece together a comprehensive picture of these ancient people, understanding their physical characteristics, level of societal development, and ultimately, formulating many theories, ranging from purely scientific to almost fantastical, to explain their disappearance. The evolutionary chain. For many years, scientists considered Neanderthals the crucial missing link in the evolutionary chain connecting early human species to Homo sapiens. At that time, researchers lacked alternative explanations for this pivotal evolutionary step, and the technological and analytical tools necessary to challenge this assumption were unavailable. Consequently, scientists overlooked the fact that Neanderthal anatomy didn't entirely fit the established evolutionary narrative. For instance, the idea that they walked with bent legs, now considered highly improbable, was widely accepted. Furthermore, in many respects, the supposedly primitive Neanderthals exhibited more advanced characteristics than their contemporary Cro-Magnons. Modern research definitively shows that Neanderthals are not direct ancestors of modern Homo sapiens. While modern Europeans and Asians share a few percent of Neanderthal genes, this doesn't indicate a direct lineage. These genes likely resulted from interbreeding between Neanderthals and other archaic humans, such as Cro-Magnons, who are currently considered our direct ancestors. Interestingly, the presence of Neanderthal genes in modern Africans is significantly lower, at just a few tenths of a percent. Why did Neanderthals go extinct? Despite their promising beginnings, Neanderthals ultimately lost the evolutionary race. They possessed exceptionally large brains, even larger than those of modern humans. Their physical prowess was astonishing. Their endurance, muscle mass, and broad shoulders were remarkable. Even Neanderthal women were larger than most modern European men, boasting a barrel-shaped chest of impressive dimensions. Though Cro-Magnons more closely resembled modern humans in appearance, body structure, and cranial features, Neanderthals were demonstrably more physically and intellectually developed. So, what happened? Version 1. Physical fitness. Ironically, their exceptional physical development might have been a contributing factor to their demise. Modern research indicates that these powerfully built Neanderthals required approximately 1/3 more calories than the taller, but slighter, Cro-Magnons to maintain their physique. In environments where Homo sapiens thrived and were well nourished, Neanderthals might have faced chronic food shortages. In the animal kingdom, such nutritional deficiencies directly correlate with reduced mating, lower reproductive rates, and a decline in the overall quality of offspring. Version 2. Climate change. Climate change is another widely considered hypothesis. However, evidence suggests that by the time Neanderthals began their population decline, the Earth's climate was significantly more temperate than during the peak of the Ice Age, a period when they had successfully thrived and expanded across Europe. Their well-developed sinus cavities, for instance, were adapted to pre-warming inhaled air, suggesting an adaptation to colder climates. Version 3. Reproductive instinct. Another theory proposes a weak reproductive instinct and small group sizes. Neanderthals lived in relatively small bands of 10 to 20 individuals, while Homo sapiens formed larger, more cohesive groups of 130 or more. This larger social structure provided greater resilience and facilitated survival and reproduction, even under harsh conditions. The smaller, isolated Neanderthal groups, with limited genetic diversity due to inbreeding, were more vulnerable to decline and genetic instability. Version 4. absorption and assimilation. A plausible scenario involves the absorption of Neanderthals by the larger and more numerous Homo sapiens populations. Neanderthals might have been victims not only of interspecies conflict but also of large predators, becoming easier prey as their populations weakened over generations. Version 5. Parasites and infections. Some researchers suggest that parasites and diseases transmitted from arriving Homo sapiens populations played a role. Neanderthals, having lived in isolation for millennia, lacked the immunity to these new pathogens. These infections could have been devastating, comparable to the impact of the Spanish flu in the early 20th century or the coronavirus pandemic of the 21st century. Version 6. Earth's magnetic field. Scientists continue to investigate other potential factors, including the possibility of a significant alteration in the Earth's magnetic field approximately 42,000 years ago. A theory, published in the influential journal DS on February 19, 2021, suggests this magnetic field anomaly triggered a major ecological catastrophe that contributed to Neanderthal extinction. This potential field reversal could have affected not only the magnetic field's strength but also its direction. One undeniable conclusion is that even at the end of their existence, Neanderthals lacked the foresight to anticipate their fate and adapt effectively. They attempted to adjust to changing environments, but their efforts were insufficient. In this respect, they resembled other animals facing extinction, lacking the intellectual capacity to understand their predicament. Homo sapiens, however, with their greater adaptability and ingenuity, overcame numerous challenges and established a new branch of humankind. They built steamships and railways, invented computers, and journeyed into space, achievements that demonstrate their remarkable capacity for innovation and survival. Yet paradoxically, you and I face an extinction risk no less significant than that faced by Neanderthals. The crucial difference is our understanding of the potential threats to our survival and that of our planet. The role of hunting in human evolution is well established. For millions of years, however, while humans honed their hunting skills, they remained prey to powerful and intelligent predators. Who were these ancient adversaries? And what was humanity's primary enemy in the 20th century? Keep watching to find out. Ancient predators. While we often consider humans the dominant species, for millions of years, from the earliest hominids to modern humans, we have never been the apex predator. This means that throughout prehistory and today, animals exist that view Australopithecus, Neanderthals, Cro-Magnons, and modern humans as potential prey. The Miocene epoch. Our journey into the prehistoric world of human hunting begins in the Miocene epoch, approximately 20 million years ago. This is when Proconsul, one of the earliest known human ancestors, lived. Proconsul likely existed before the divergence of chimpanzees and great apes, exhibiting characteristics of both. Weighing an average of 20 to 30 kilograms, these early hominids lacked the strength, skills, and intelligence to compete with larger carnivores, and were therefore easy prey. A skilled hunter. As our ancestors developed skills and spread across the globe, they increasingly outmatched their predators, gradually shifting from prey to hunter. Homo habilis, or handy man, was still vulnerable to large predators, like the ancient crocodile Anthropophagus. The name, meaning man-eater, is quite descriptive. The remains of this 8-meter-long crocodile, discovered in 2007, were found alongside fossilized human remains, both Homo sapiens and Paranthropus boisei, the latter being the first known tool makers. Evidence suggests that these man-eating crocodiles preyed upon our ancestors for millennia. The saber-toothed cat. For centuries, the saber-toothed cat, often mistakenly called a saber-toothed tiger, posed a significant threat to early humans. Scientists refer to these extinct cats as machaerodonts. They coexisted with various human species for over 2 million years, only becoming extinct about 10,000 years ago. These massive cats, significantly larger than any living feline, could weigh up to half a ton. Heidelberg man. The most intense interactions between saber-toothed cats and humans likely occurred during the time of Heidelberg man, a non-Neanderthal ancestor, and a direct predecessor to modern humans. In a deadly struggle, humans ultimately prevailed, not by directly hunting the cats, but indirectly, by developing more advanced hunting tools and depleting the megafauna that formed the saber-toothed cat's primary food source. Humans contributed to their extinction. Cave bears. Another dangerous encounter involved cave bears. Human and bear remains found together in prehistoric caves suggest conflicts, likely over territory rather than food. Cave bears, primarily herbivores, were too formidable for humans to hunt effectively, while humans posed little threat to them. Yet, between approximately 100,000 and 30,000 years ago, humans survived, and the cave bears did not. Large birds. Large birds also presented a danger to early humans, though they couldn't decimate entire populations. However, they could easily prey upon small children. The Taung child, a fossilized skull of a baby Australopithecus, shows evidence of being killed by a bird of prey. Such attacks, unfortunately, still occur today. Haast's eagle. The conflict between humans and large birds is particularly well documented among the Maori people of New Zealand, involving the Haast's eagle. These massive eagles, weighing up to 14 kilograms, likely preyed upon Maori children after the Maori expanded into their territory and depleted the eagle's food sources, including the flightless moa bird. Ultimately, the Haast's eagle met the same fate as cave bears and saber-toothed cats. Many other creatures posed significant threats to early humans. The Whispering Woods, a journey into the heart of the ancient forest. The sun, a molten orb sinking below the horizon, cast long skeletal shadows across the Whispering Woods. These weren't just any woods. This was Blackwood Forest, a place steeped in legend, whispered about in hushed tones around crackling fires. Generations had walked its paths, their stories weaving themselves into the very fabric of the trees, the moss-covered stones, the murmuring streams, a place where time seemed to slow, to stretch, to become almost tangible. Imagine, if you will, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a symphony of rustling leaves, the chirping of crickets, and the distant hoot of an owl, a natural orchestra playing a timeless composition. The trees themselves, ancient sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching skyward like supplicating arms, stood as silent witnesses to centuries of history. Some, oaks perhaps, had seen the Norman conquest, their rings bearing silent testimony to the passage of time, each one a year etched into their very being. Think of the sheer scale. 1,000 years, 2,000 years, even more, compressed within the concentric circles of their woody anatomy. It's breathtaking, isn't it? To stand before such silent giants is to feel the weight of history pressing down upon you. The undergrowth, a chaotic tapestry of ferns, wildflowers, and tangled vines, offered a haven for a myriad of creatures. Shy deer, their coats the color of autumn leaves, grazed peacefully in glades bathed in the fading light. Squirrels, their bushy tails twitching, scampered amongst the branches, their chatter a constant background hum. And deeper within, creatures more elusive, more mysterious, made their home. Badgers, their burrows hidden beneath the roots of ancient trees, emerged at dusk to hunt. Foxes, with their cunning intelligence, stalked their prey through the undergrowth, their eyes gleaming like embers in the twilight. Even the elusive wildcat, a rare and magnificent beast, might be glimpsed, a fleeting shadow in the deepest recesses of the forest. This intricate web of life, this delicate balance of predator and prey, is a testament to the enduring power of nature. The paths, barely more than trails worn smooth by countless feet over countless years, wound their way through the forest. Some were straight, others meandered, following the capricious whims of the landscape. Sometimes they disappeared altogether, swallowed by the encroaching undergrowth, challenging the traveler to find their way. Perhaps a fallen branch, a moss-covered stone, or a peculiar arrangement of trees served as a guide. It's a testament to human resilience, this ability to navigate such seemingly chaotic environments. One might easily get lost, however, and the thought of being stranded in Blackwood Forest after dark is enough to send shivers down your spine. The stories told around those crackling fires often spoke of those who ventured too deep and never returned. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath as twilight deepened. The air grew colder, heavier, infused with an almost palpable sense of mystery. The whispers, barely audible at first, grew stronger, more insistent. Were they the wind rustling through the leaves, or something else entirely? something more ancient, more profound. The imagination, fueled by the encroaching darkness and the weight of untold stories, conjured images of unseen things, of spirits and shadows lurking just beyond the reach of the moonlight. It's this very ambiguity, this sense of the unknown, that makes Blackwood Forest so compelling, so utterly captivating. And then there were the ruins. Scattered throughout the forest, remnants of a forgotten past, crumbling stone walls, overgrown foundations, fragments of pottery and broken tools. These silent witnesses to bygone eras offered tantalizing glimpses into lives lived and lost. Were they remnants of a Roman settlement? Or perhaps a medieval village swallowed by the relentless advance of the forest? Each stone, each shard of pottery whispered its own story, inviting the imagination to piece together the fragments of a lost civilization. Archaeologists have spent years studying these ruins, uncovering clues to the forest's history, yet much remains shrouded in mystery. So if you ever find yourself drawn to the whispers of Blackwood Forest, remember this: respect its power, its mystery, its ancient wisdom. It's a place where the boundaries between reality and imagination blur, where the past and the present intertwine, and where the whispers of the wind carry secrets older than time itself. It's a journey into the heart of nature, a journey into the heart of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more captivating explorations into the world's most mysterious places. For example, consider the dire wolves, primitive hyenas and distant ancestors of modern wolves. Their name alone evokes a sense of power and ferocity. The dire wolf's story mirrors the tragic extinction narratives of many Ice Age megafauna. These magnificent creatures thrived in their North American habitat, facing no significant challenges in reproduction or finding food. That is, until the arrival of the first human tribes, emerging from the Ice Age. Even these apex predators couldn't withstand the impact of early human settlements. Cannibalism presents a fascinating, albeit grim, aspect of early human survival. It's a scientifically confirmed fact that in the struggle against other predators, often larger and stronger, humans may have gained a survival edge due to their relatively low caloric value. Think about it. A horse provides far more energy than even the most robust human. This isn't conjecture. Scientific evidence supports the occurrence of cannibalism among early humans. However, it wasn't a particularly efficient food source. The caloric yield was simply low, and hunting fellow humans would have been incredibly difficult. This threat, sadly, isn't confined to the distant past. Many predators that once threatened our ancestors still exist today. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. But thanks to advances in civilization and technology, we've developed far more effective defenses. However, we must never forget nature's inherent drive to restore balance. A crucial point to remember: humanity's greatest adversary is often humanity itself. Our actions and decisions can have irreversible global consequences. In conclusion, human history is a tapestry woven with mysteries and secrets. We delve into our past to better understand the present and shape a sustainable future.